Okay, so today we are diving into the world of Attack on Titan.
Okay.
And more specifically, we are going to be taking a deep dive into Eren Yeager,
Yeah,
a fascinating character,
definitely.
for sure.
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah, and you sent this in, and we're happy to take a look at it for you.
Yeah, Attack on Titan, very popular.
Yeah, so this is his Wikipedia page.
Okay.
And I think it'll be interesting to kind of see what makes him tick, because he's a very popular character, but he's also a very controversial character.
Right. Yeah, he's not your typical hero,
Right.
like you were saying.
Yeah, so like picture this young Eren,
Yeah.
10 years old,
Right.
stuck inside these walls with everyone else he knows, and all he wants to do is see the outside world.
Right. Classic setup, right?
Right, like classic adventure story.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you got that human need to explore, right?
Right.
The yearning for freedom.
But there's also that fear of the unknown.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And in Attack on Titan, that fear has a name. Titans.
Right. And it's not just like, oh, we're scared of what's beyond the walls.
Right.
These things are terrifying.
They're monsters.
Oh.
I mean, they're grotesque and powerful, and they just want to eat people.
Yeah. You don't know why.
Nope.
They're just these giant humanoid things that are just roaming around outside the walls and
Hungry.
hungry.
Always hungry.
That's a recipe for disaster.
It really is. And that sense of dread that you get.
Yeah.
Just, it's like this constant weight in that world.
Yeah. And that dread becomes reality when
Yeah.
the fall of Shiganshina happens.
Right. His hometown.
Yeah. And I can't even imagine witnessing that as a 10-year-old.
Yeah. You see your whole world crumble.
Yeah.
Everyone you know and love.
And especially his mom.
Oh, yeah. That scene is tough to watch, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the way she goes out.
Yeah.
It's
The
brutal.
look on his face, and you just see the look on the Titan's face, and it's just this.
That grotesque grin.
Yeah.
It's burned into my memory.
It's horrifying.
It is. And that event, it's not just some random plot point.
Right.
It sets everything else in motion.
Right. It defines his character.
Exactly.
That's where, like, that drive comes from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That anger, the grief,
Yeah.
the need for revenge.
Because he's like, I'm going to get rid of all of them.
Yeah. His laser focus from that point on.
Yeah. And he eventually does gain the power to fight the Titans.
Which is insane.
But
Yeah. But it comes at a cost.
it comes at a cost because he becomes one himself.
Right. Becomes the very thing he hates.
And that's such a great moment
Oh,
in the anime
For sure.
when it's like, boom.
When he transforms for the first time,
Yeah.
chills.
It's like this.
It's terrifying, but also kind of awesome.
It's awesome, but it's like, what is going on?
Exactly. You're left with this feeling of like, what did we just witness?
Yeah. And he's like, wait, what?
Right.
Yeah.
He's just as shocked as we are.
I know. And it's like he's willing to sacrifice himself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's fully ready to die to save Armin.
Right.
That's huge.
And that's where you start to see those little bits
Oh, yeah.
of future memories.
Yeah, those flashes.
Yeah. And so it's like,
It's not just that he can turn into a Titan.
right.
It's a specific type of Titan with these unique abilities.
Yeah.
The Attack Titan.
Like, how does this all.
And that connection to memories.
Right.
Is what really makes it interesting.
So he's got this power,
Right.
but then he's also got these future memories that are kind of like clouding his judgment a little bit.
Well, it's more like these glimpses into the future. They
Yeah.
start to weigh on him.
Right.
You know, they influence his decisions.
Okay.
It's not always pretty.
And that's where it starts to go downhill a little bit.
Yeah, you could say that.
Or uphill, depending on how you look at it.
That's the thing with Eren. It's
Yeah.
all a matter of perspective.
So we've talked about the trauma Eren's been through, how he gets his powers, and then those flashes of future memories.
Right.
It's a lot for one person to carry, right?
Oh, yeah. Especially a kid like him.
But what happens when that drive to protect his own leads him down a darker path?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Right, because this isn't your typical hero's journey.
Definitely not.
There are some serious moral dilemmas that come into play.
Yeah. And it's something that's divided the Attack on Titan fandom big time.
Totally.
Like on one side, you have people who are all in on Eren, no matter what he does.
Right, they're like, he's the hero of the story, we're rooting for him.
Exactly.
But then you have those who are like, whoa, hold on a minute. This guy's gone off the deep end.
Yeah. His actions in the later arcs, especially the rumbling. I mean,
Yeah.
that's some heavy stuff.
For those who haven't gotten to that point in the story, basically imagine this apocalyptic scenario
Yeah.
where these colossal titans that have been hidden inside the walls that protect humanity are suddenly unleashed upon the world.
Talk about a twist.
Talk about a twist, right?
Yeah. It's like the ultimate act of destruction.
Right. Eren basically decides he's going to protect Paradise Island by wiping out any potential threat.
which is basically everyone else.
Pretty much.
He
So-
becomes this force of nature,
Yeah, it's like he's not even human anymore.
and that's where the debate really heats up.
Totally, because the question becomes, was he justified?
Right. Was it
Very-
a necessary evil?
Yeah, like was he a hero making an impossible choice, or did he become the very thing he swore to destroy?
The villain of his own story.
Exact.
And I think what Isayama does so well
Yeah.
is he doesn't give you those easy answers.
No, he doesn't.
He makes you think, he makes you question everything.
Yeah, and I was grappling with that throughout those final arcs.
Me too.
Because on one hand, you understand Aaron's motivations. Like, this is a guy who's been through hell and back.
Right.
He's seen things that nobody should ever have to see, and he's just trying to protect the people he cares about.
And he's still a product of his environment.
Exactly. He's been raised in this world where fear and violence are the norm.
So can we really blame him for wanting to break free from that cycle?
It's tough because his intentions are good,
Right.
but the means by which he goes about achieving those goals are definitely questionable.
Yeah, you can't deny the scale of destruction.
So many innocent lives lost.
It's a moral quagmire, for sure.
It is.
And that's the brilliance of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
It makes you confront these really uncomfortable truths
Totally.
about humanity, about war, about the choices we make when our backs are against the wall.
And it doesn't shy away from showing the consequences.
No, it doesn't.
Those ripple effects that last long after the dust settles.
Right? It's not just about good versus evil. It's about the gray areas.
And that's where I think Aaron's story really resonates with people.
Even if they don't agree with his actions.
Exactly, because it forces you to ask yourself, what would I do in that situation?
Right. Would you be willing to make those same sacrifices?
Would you be willing to become a monster to save the world?
Or at least your world.
Right, and that's a question that stays with you. So we've talked about his journey, the trauma, the power, the impossible choices.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It really is.
And through it all, those moral gray areas, all that destruction, he's still a character that people are drawn to.
Right, like he's captivating.
Yeah, definitely. I think part of it is just the sheer scale of the story, you know? Giant monsters, epic battles, that kind of thing.
The action is incredible.
For sure. But there's also this depth to Aaron's character.
Right.
Like under the surface, he's wrestling with some really complex stuff.
Yeah. He's not perfect.
No, not at all. He's flawed, driven by rage. Grief makes some huge mistakes.
Catastrophic mistakes.
But even with all that, there's this vulnerability to him. Like he's just trying to find his way in a world that seems determined to crush him.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Totally. That feeling of wanting to break free.
Yeah, like I'm stuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you're not facing down, giant man-eating titans.
Right, exactly. But with Aaron, it's not just about fighting monsters.
No, it's about those inner demons, too.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Those moments when you have to question your own morality, when the stakes are high and there are no easy answers.
Yeah, and that's what I find so fascinating about him as a character, like how differently people interpret him.
Oh, totally.
Some people are like, he's a hero. He did what he had to do.
Tragic hero.
Yeah, he was burdened with the weight of the world.
Making impossible choices.
And then others are like, he's a villain. He became the very thing he swore to destroy.
It's all about perspective, right?
Right.
But that's what makes it good storytelling.
Exactly.
It sparks debate. It makes you think.
He's a character that really stays with you even after you finish the story.
Oh, for sure. You're still thinking about him weeks later.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, shoot.
So we know the Attack Titan can see the future, right?
Yeah, those glimpses.
So was Aaron really free to make his own choices, or was his path predetermined all along?
Whoa.
Was he always going to become the devil that everyone feared?
Man, that's a tough one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
It really is. Like,
Yeah.
do we actually have free will, or are we just playing out some predetermined script?
Right. And if he could see the future, did he see his own choices, and was he okay with it?
Oh, man, that just adds a whole other layer to it.
Right.
Wow.
So if you're listening and this conversation has piqued your interest, I highly recommend checking out Attack on Titan.
Oh, yeah, definitely worth a watch.
It is a wild ride, and we just scratched the surface today with Aaron.
Seriously, there's so much more to explore.
Themes of war, political intrigue, betrayal.
Don't forget the romance.
Oh, yeah, the romance. It's all in there.
It's a wild ride from start to finish.
It really is. So that's going to do it for us today, but make sure to send in your requests if you want us to do a deep dive on anything else.
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
And until next time, keep exploring those fascinating corners of the internet.
And keep asking those big questions.
We'll see you in the next one.